Yo, what is up? Welcome back. We are here from unknown to unforgettable. I got a special treat here on Zoom. We've been chatting it up a little bit here, taking a little bit, but here we are. Ashton DeLangoLunday. Welcome to the podcast, man. New agency owner, by the way, which is huge. Want to extend a huge congratulations to you on that, but welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for the warm introduction. I definitely appreciate it. And glad to be able to connect with you again. You know, we get to talk on the phone every once in a while, and glad to get to connect with you and be on the podcast.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. And so Ashton is a huge industry leader, top producer right now in the insurance industry, paving his way just throughout his entrepreneurial journey. So I'm excited to be able to take you guys inside of his kind of his thought process, kind of things that he's overcome obstacles, as well as this dude is one of the guys that I look up to a lot, just in terms of the way he implements his faith into being an entrepreneur. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So that's kind of what you can expect. But Ashton, talk about how you got to where you are today. Cause I know you have you have a history in sports. You've done that. You just tell us a little bit about what you've done in the past and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. So my professional background is simply, I was a server in a barbecue restaurant for about 5.5 years. I have my bachelor's in pastoral ministry, currently getting my master of divinity at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Dang, okay.
So my background had nothing to do with sales. The only background I had in any type of sale environment was school fundraisers growing up. So that's about it. And so found a job ad one day, actually just a notification in my email inbox. Not an invite to apply, but just ZipRecruiter one day said, "Hey, here are a few different jobs that might be a great fit." You know, just the normal ZipRecruiter email. And it was the only one that kind of had the income potential that I was looking for.
Yeah.
So applied, and you know, the rest is kind of history.
That's awesome. So I know you played soccer. Was that right?
I played a little bit of soccer. My main sport was basketball, and then played a little rugby as well.
Boom. There you go. And did you play in college or?
I had a D1 scholarship and a few other scholarships at a high school. Didn't play basketball in college. Ended up staying local because my mom was sick. So I didn't take any of my scholarships, stayed local. And then I didn't end up doing any sports really on a collegiate level, just in between. You know, we called them collegians, but it would be called like a fraternity at many universities. So just fraternal sports, just between different fraternities there. That's about it.
Boom. I did not know that you even played basketball. I thought you were a mainly soccer player. So that's actually crazy, because I actually moved out here to Phoenix to play basketball, man.
Oh, nice.
And so that is awesome. But talk a little bit about kind of how you were able to get the competitive edge, because being an entrepreneur, you have to have a little bit of an edge, chip on your shoulder. Kind of talk to me about that, and how being an athlete has translated well into selling in the field, being able to be a successful entrepreneur and business owner as you have so far.
Yeah, I think the things that translate over in terms of athletics to running a business are discipline. You know, if you're going to be a successful athlete, you have to have the discipline, whether it comes to workouts, whether it comes to practice every day. Well, you know, what is your work ethic at practice? So those things of discipline, of character, doing what's right when no one's looking. And really just work ethic. You know, how hard are you working? You know, are you just doing enough to get by, whether that's a 9-to-5 job or sports?
Yep.
You know, are you just showing up and, hey, you know, no matter what, outcome's going to be the same. I'm going to be playing in the game, or I'm just going to be on the bench. Hey, I'm going to make my paycheck. no matter how hard, how little I work, I'm gonna get the same amount of money. Are you doing the bare minimum, or are you doing everything you can, giving it your all? So I think
Yep.
those would be the characteristics and traits that really translate over.
That is huge, and I love that you shared that, because it made me think of a quote that I heard, actually Dallas, at Secure Insurance Group. I heard him
Yeah,
talk a little bit last week, and he was talking about how making dials every day is like shooting free throws for basketball. And people would shoot, like everybody shoots when you play basketball, you're
yeah,
shooting hundreds of free throws, you're shooting hundreds of like practice things so you can get good at game speed, right? And I think like
absolutely.
even in business, it's like, okay, you have to do these reps on reps on reps so that you go into that from the conscious incompetent to conscious competent, and then you change that from in unconscious competency. I believe.
Absolutely.
I believe that that's kind of
Yeah.
it makes me think, as well as there's a lot of different people on the basketball team. Are you just doing enough to be a bench player and just be on the team? Like some people want to do that. Some people just want to get by, just pay their
Absolutely.
bills in life. But then there's people that want to be the starters, want to be the go-to guy, that go above and beyond, and kind of talk through what that looks like just in terms of business wise, how that plays out, of just not doing the bare minimum but actually going far above and beyond. Practicals, like let's talk practicals on what it looks like to go far above and beyond.
Yeah. I think every industry is going to be different.
Yeah.
And when I say industry, I think the better way to put it is every company's going to be different. Being in the space for a while now, I've been able to at least talk to below average, average, and above average agents at pretty much every company that's out there.
Yeah.
Not going to start naming names of companies, but definitely talk to quite a few. I think in a 3-month span, at one point, I actually talked to over 300 agents at different companies, not 300
Yeah.
different ones, but about 300 different agents in a 3-month span at other companies, and saw the systems they had in place, because they said, hey, you know what? I'm not excelling where I'm at. Maybe somewhere else is a good fit. And so the average thing at every company is going to be different. The average at my company is, about $300 in a week. At
Uh-huh.
other companies, the average is 300 dials in, an hour, obviously being a
Yeah.
little hyperbolic. So that average is always going to look different, because
Yeah.
you can get different results in different companies based on systems. We have a
Totally.
great thing called Switchboard.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I made one phone call, talked to 6 people, and booked 5 appointments, because we have a system that does text and emails, and it draws inbound calls. I had 6 clients call me, or potential clients, 6 leads call me asking to
Uh-huh.
book an appointment. So,
Jeez.
that average, it can look different in other places. And so with that being said, in our company, I always kind of, in the beginning, I really did average, maybe below average, but the results
Yeah.
I got were big, because I took the time to self-develop myself, to make sure that I'm going through the training that my company has.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so that is awesome, and we, Ash and I, are both in the insurance industry, and this podcast is meant, I'm doing this so that we can empower, we can help the next generation, people in their 20s, young, looking to make a change in life, no matter what industry they're trying to be a part of. Obviously, we're in the insurance industry. We're
yeah,
huge enthusiasts for it because the opportunity is so massive,
absolutely.
but the crazy thing is that you can work so hard in your 20s and literally create a life that you don't have to worry about money
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
And what was the main thing that really attracted you to insurance? Because I know most people don't grow up thinking wanting to be an insurance agent. Really,
Yeah,
I actually met somebody that did. When he was 16, he's like, dude, that's all I want to do. I just want to
yeah,
sell insurance. Couldn't wait till he's 18 to actually get his license.
yeah,
But kind of talk through what the opportunity is, because some people are like, dude, is that a scam? Like the money just doesn't sound real. And so kind of talk about that, what drew you into this?
Yeah. Definitely wanting to be in insurance is a rarity to find for someone early in life.
Right.
And grade school, you go, hey, that's what I want to do. That's not normal.
Yeah.
For me, when I first applied, I pretty much knew it was insurance, from what I remember.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I thought I'd be good in a sales type position. So when I was doing my job search, it was more of I feel that I would be great in sales.
Yeah.
I love fundraisers as a kid. I love talking to people. I think it's something I could be good at. And then it was also the only job that offered the starting income that I was looking for.
And what was that? What was that? Just ballpark.
Yeah, I had a 4-year degree, so I was like, man, I feel like I should be able to get a 60,000 plus year position. I have a 4-year degree. I might not be in the field I have a degree in, but there's a lot of jobs out there. Hey, you just got to have some type of bachelor's degree and we'll give you a manager position. I worked at a few places like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know I can at least get something like that. Maybe 40, 50, 60,000. My goal was to make about 3,000 a month.
Uh-huh.
Where I was at, I was working, about 40, 60 hours a week, making, 1,000, 2,000 if it was a phenomenal month. I was making about 1,000 to 1,500 a month.
Jeez.
And, was engaged. And I was like, well, don't want her to have to work while she's getting a medical degree. So
Yeah.
the goal was to find a career where I could make a livable income for two people, basically make 3,000 a month, whether that was working 80 hours a week where I was currently at, which I was fine with. I love the place I was at. I love the restaurant, love the chain of command. I loved everything about it. I had no issues at all with the place I worked.
Yeah.
Just needed a bigger income.
Yeah.
Or go find somewhere where I could work the same hours I'm working now and make 3,000 a month. And so, during that job search, I was like, man, well, what if I could find someone that does 6 figures? Like, that'd be pretty cool. Let's go above and beyond. And this was the only career field, sales, where I could find that type of income. And then this was pretty much the only place where I had the requirements, which the requirements is simply be 18. There's no educational requirement. Pass our background check and be 18.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So I applied, did my interview, and got hired.
Boom. Yeah. And that's what's funny is you saying like you're just looking to make 3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like that's probably like you probably were like, dang, dude, I was thinking small back then, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's like it's just really life-changing money. And in the insurance industry, like it makes the most millionaires out of every other industry. Like number one industry that makes the most millionaires. Like, come on now, making 6 figures your first year. It's possible.
Yep.
Like the person that brought me into this business made $250,000 his first 9 months. And it's like, dude, it's just it's possible. And so transitioning a little bit into some obstacles that you might have come up with, like had to stumble upon or had to overcome. Because I know that going from that steady income, knowing that you're going to make that money, what were some of the obstacles that you faced early on in this entrepreneurial journey, field sales? What were some of the things you had to overcome to be able to get to where you're at? Because obviously, let's back up a little bit. Just give us some credentials of what you've been able to do. Obviously, your 90-day challenge you stumbled upon, you just did. Talk a little bit about that, just so we could have some credibility for you, because you are a monster in this industry, but I think very like highly admired just in the entrepreneurial space, especially doing it so young. And so kind of talk through some of the accomplishments you've had, and then talk about some of the obstacles that you faced on your way and journey there.
Yeah. In my first 4 weeks in the business, I was able to go do about 37K, going home to home, in-person sales, working leads. Then my largest month, which was December of 21, was able to do 73.3K. Largest 90-day run, which included that December, was 114,834 in sales. And then
That is huge, man.
yeah. And then this year right now I have a rolling close or issue ratio of, I think it's 94%. And then in the last 90 days, I'm pretty sure I'm right around 99.18% issue rate. So that means
Gee.
everything I'm submitting is issuing.
Yeah.
We're making sure we get the right policy the first time.
Yeah.
Knowing how to underwrite, knowing what to write.
Huge.
So that's pretty much been all this year. Besides that large month. And the main obstacles really were in the beginning was schedule. Whether you're single, I guess it doesn't matter too much if you're single. If you're married, if you have kids, if you have a family, schedule is going to be something that's always key, and it's still a struggle to this day.
Yeah.
The bigger you get, the more you grow when you're building a team. I was talking to my wife this week. I was like, if I were simply producing, I would work 15 hours a week and I'd be done. And then we'd have the same income, the same life we have now.
That is stupid.
But building a team, it's drastically different. You're running interviews. Last week we had a total of 50 interviews on our calendar, between first and second interviews. Thankfully, I have a executive administrative assistant, which expedites that process exponentially. I think I only had technically 10 interviews on my calendar and they had 40. So that's a huge blessing to go. I don't have to worry about, let's just say they take half an hour each. I don't have to worry about 20 hours of work.
Yeah.
I just got to worry about, 5.
Yeah.
That's a huge blessing. So doing those interviews, but then you got to hire someone. When you hire them, now let's just say they already have their license. Licensing, you're not doing too much. Maybe a text or a phone call every few weeks going, hey, how's it going? But when they get licensed, that's when it starts. And thankfully we have a training system in place with our company that someone can go through it and know how to write a policy and know everything they need without technically ever talking to you. All the technology we have in place that goes, this is exactly what to write. Here's how to write it. Here's what to do. Here's how to do underwriting, all of those things. But now you also have to mentor those people. And that takes time. And, I think on average, I'm spending 15 to 20 hours a week when it comes to training agents or helping, supporting. So having a clear schedule was something that was definitely rough in the beginning. Not necessarily maybe for me, but for those around me.
Yeah.
Knowing what's happening when. And it's still a struggle to this day. So that's definitely one of the biggest things.
Yeah. So scheduling, obviously that's a huge factor, just because it's easy, especially working from home. One thing that it's like, it's easy to be like, oh, I need to do dishes. I need to do laundry. It's like, you're not in this business. You didn't hire yourself or get hired so that you can be your own maid. Like that it's just the reality, but it's easy to be like, oh, I need to do this, this, and this, and this, and kind of justify it because you work from home. But are you really working? No. So scheduling, that's huge. What are some things that were challenging for you or fears that you might have had to overcome?
I think, fears didn't really exist for me. I always knew I could do it. Or felt that I could. Maybe the results weren't there, but definitely had the belief, one, in the system that we had in place, that, hey, other people are having success. So if they are, what's the difference between me and them? But the obstacles I probably faced in the beginning were the results. And you have to realize you have to focus on the activity. Are the activities you're putting in expected to have the results you're looking for?
Yeah.
You have a lot of people. They simply will, put in, let's just say, for our company, we expect, anywhere from 3 to 9 hours of phone calls. And you're going to book about 15 appointments. So if I have someone that calls me and they put in 3 hours of phone calls and they talk to 10 people and they're like, I booked 2 appointments. I'm like, all right, well, what's the issue? Well, I don't have 15 yet. I was like, well, you got a 1 in 5 ratio. And you're working aged leads that are a year or 2 old.
Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty great.
That's huge.
So looking at that activity, does it back up the results you want? So that was a huge obstacle for me. I realized, man, I'm not putting the activity. I need to put in more. We see like a guy, Adam Nero, last month, did over 145,000 in business in 1 month. I guarantee you, he's not doing 3 hours of phone calls a week. I guarantee
he
you
has to have other people.
Yeah, I guarantee you he's not running 10 appointments a week. He's booking a lot of appointments. He's putting in a lot of work, putting in the dials, putting in the appointments, and then he's investing in himself, whether it's money or whether it's time. That's the other thing. You have to invest in yourself to get better. Hey, what am I reading? What am I watching? Am I doing my company training?
Yeah.
So those are key things in the beginning.
That is huge. Yeah. Andre Neuro, dude, holy cow. Like he did 52,000 last week. I'm like, bro, this dude is got something else different. And obviously, like what's cool about nowadays is that you're able to, a lot of technology based, you talked about it a little bit, but using technology as a leverage tool to literally be working without having to work. It's like, are you going to pay with it in, like you said, with time or money? And you could literally invest more to be able to do more. And that's what's awesome about the insurance industry as a whole. And I appreciate you sharing some of those things. And if you're not doing massive activity, you shouldn't expect to be good. Nobody at the start is good. Like it's just a reality. People even doing 100,000 their first month, like that's awesome. But it's like, you don't see, you need to see perspective. And it's like been doing telesales for a while or whatever it is. People don't just come in and they're good. Like it's very, very, very rare. And so there's that learning curve that people have to go through. And I've personally experienced that, like just being able to like write a lot of business, but then it's like, okay, get hung up in underwriting. But I learned from that mistake because I'm like, it's kind of that emotional roller coaster, but you got to stay consistent through it. And it is tough. But when I know you're talking with a lot of new people who are coming into this industry, but more importantly, just people who are like, I want to make a change in life. They hear about the money. They hear about the time freedom. They hear I can work 20 hours and easily make a 6-figure income. Yeah. What are some of the challenges that these people are facing, like going into just starting out?
Yeah.
And how do you help them out?
Yeah. I think those two things again are really going to come down to schedule and work ethic. What are you willing to do to get the life you're looking for? What are you willing to sacrifice short term to have the long term gain? And so the two things that come down to that is, what activity are you putting in, if any? And then are you making sure that you're scheduling everything out? A lot of people can come into this industry that are single parents and make a great income, and they're raising multiple kids and they still have time for business. So making sure to have that schedule set up is absolutely crucial. And then putting in the activity. You can't look at 1 week of work and go, man, oh, that was horrible. I think this month was a great example of it for me. My first week of the month, I think it was like 2,000 in business. Last week did 10,500 in business. And the agency as a whole last week did 22,000 just in a week.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And that was mainly between two people. So the thing is when we look with a microscope, it's a lot harder. We have to kind of zoom out and look over a length of time of data, putting in the consistent work. So that's key. I look at every big month I've ever had, and typically there's 1 or 2 big weeks. It's not 4 big weeks. It's 1 or 2 really great weeks, and then 1 or 2 average weeks. Yeah. 1, 2, or 3 average weeks or below average. And so it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not going to see all these results in 5 days. And you're not going to start here in any business and go, all right, I was doing 0. Now I did 100,000 in income. It's in 1 week. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So when those people are coming on, it's letting them know, hey, there's a system and there's a process. There's a learning curve. Yeah. How quick you overcome that learning curve, it's different for everyone. And it's dependent on how much you do. We have a great training. Someone said, there's 4 laps to a track, a regulation size track, whether you're elementary, high school, college, Olympics, a regulation track is a regulation track.
Yeah.
4 laps is a mile. And those 4 laps as a new agent is how quickly are you dialing? How many appointments are you booking? Are they showing? And are you closing them? And how quick you do those laps is up to you. When it comes to dials, you can sprint and you can go do 60, 70, $80 an hour. You can jog. You can do $30 an hour, or you can crawl and do about 10 an hour. That's up to you. However long you want to take to go put in whatever your company says for dials. For us, we say $300 to $500 a week. If you want to crawl and do 10 an hour and go spend all your time dialing and not actually helping anyone, more power to you. Just have that healthy expectation. If I'm doing this amount of activity, it's going to take this long for those results.
Yeah.
So that's the key. And if I put in more activity, guess what? I'm going to see those results quicker. That's why you were able to do what you did in the short amount of time you did.
Yeah.
Because you put in a lot of activity to make sure those results came quicker.
Yeah, totally. And that's a huge component, because nobody comes in good. And it's like the company standard or just the standard that people are saying is do 300 dials. And I was like, okay, let me see what 1,000 would do. And it's like, I was trash at booking appointments to start. Like, in all honesty, I booked 20 for my first 1,500 dials or something. And it's like, okay, like it was massive activity, but literally 4 showed up. And I remember talking to you.
It's not too good.
We had a conversation. I'm like, dude, you're like, yeah, you got to fix something, man. But I think that's really cool, is just being able to have mentors. Talk a little bit about that, just having how important it is to have a mentor and somebody who's going to be there that you can trust, that you can be open with, and kind of be like, hey, this is where I messed up. And how important that is, even in your life, but also how much of an importance you see in other agents as well.
Yeah. Systems and uplines, systems and mentors are 100% what makes people succeed. If you don't know what to do or where to go find the answer, you're never going to be successful. If you don't know how to build a house and your job is to build a house, you have no idea how to figure it out.
Yeah.
Trial and error is only going to get you so far. Either you're going to be really, really great at guessing and you're eventually going to stay in the business and go, hey, I figured out all the wrong ways and eventually found the right way. We talk about inventors all the time, like Edison, like all these people, Alexander Graham Bell, they found all the wrong ways to do it. But guess what? That took a lot of time and a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you have time and money, great. Go do all the guessing and maybe figure it out.
Yeah.
But how much easier is it if you go, man, I don't know how to build a house. Let me go talk to a guy who does. I don't know how to run a McDonald's. I don't know how to be a server in a restaurant. I don't know how to, I don't know how to play basketball. How much easier is it going to be to find a resource, whether it's a video or a person, have those relationships and resources in order to be successful. So that's a very, very key part, especially when you have a question in the moment. Now, a lot of times you're in appointments, you don't know what to do. If you don't have software that tells you what to write, which we do, if you don't have a person you could call, which we do, when you don't know what the answer is, then you're going to be stuck. Yeah. And you're going to lose a lot of business. So having a mentor that's available for you is very crucial. So much so that we hired a chief development of leadership for our company. Yeah. That has found coaches across the nation that are the best in what they do. He used to coach the Navy SEALs, a bunch of Fortune 500 companies, CEOs. He knows what it is to coach someone. Yeah. He went out and created coaching courses for every single level someone's in the business. You've never written a policy? Here's a 6-week coaching course. You've written a few policies, you got some consistent production, but you're not where you want to be and you want to be a lot better. Here's a 10-week coaching course. I went through it, ended up doing $73,000 at the end of that course. Pretty decent course, if you ask me. If you're building a team, you're not as big as you want to be. Hey, you kind of have a few agents. Well, here's a coaching course for that. You want to grow? Hey, you don't know what it looks like or what staff you should have in your agency, and you want to learn more, whether you're beginning or very experienced. Well, here's a coaching course for that. We have coaching for everything because we realize how important that is. Because if you don't have it, you're not going to be here long. Yeah. Yeah. And especially when you're starting out, you need somebody to be able to like be the
the inner voice in your head that you can keep going, keep doing this, keep doing the activity, but not just the encourager, but also the person that's going to be able to help practically hone your skills. And that's, I've experienced that as well, just having mentorship to be there, having a lot of different people to talk to. Ashton and I don't even work together, but he's helped me out a lot in my career and helped me out. So I appreciate that. But it's like, you can either buy it in time or money. And it's like, what are you going to do? And what's cool is that what's crazy is like, if we're growing up, we're taught as kids, like, do it yourself. Like, you to be like very independent, but it's all reality, like the most successful people weren't built by themselves. There were people there to help them through it. Even if they're self-made millionaire, billionaire, whatever, there's someone helping pave the way. And I think that that's a huge component, especially starting out. But even like the most successful people that I know have mentors consistently pushing them to be better. And so I love that. And as we wrap up here, I just want to like ask you personally, one thing I love and really respect and admire about you is that you have a faith-based like system, like belief system, and you're a faith-based entrepreneur. And I love that because I am as well. And the reason that like I do what I do is because because of God's love for me. And that's how I feel like I've been able to make an impact on people. And that's my driving factor, is just to be able to help other people so I could glorify God. And so talk about a little bit about how you've been a very successful faith-based entrepreneur and how that's stayed the center of your life.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is when you look at your morals, your ethics, that's always going to be the center of who you are. Obviously mine are shaped by my beliefs. I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I believe in God. So everything that I do is centered around those presuppositions. And no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, that's exactly the same thing for you. The way you believe, the way you act, the way you think, the way you make decisions is based off of your presuppositions. It's based off of what you believe are your axioms, what you believe are true without a doubt. For instance, no matter who you are, what you believe, gravity exists. If my belief is gravity doesn't exist, and I go stand on a 5-story building and I go, gravity doesn't exist, and I jump off, what's going to happen? Am I going to magically fly because I don't believe gravity exists? No,
nope.
I'm going to fall. So my axiom is gravity exists. So if I drop something, it's going to fall. If I do whatever, gravity will have its effect. So the way that transitions into business, it doesn't mean that we only hire people who are Christians, people who believe the same. That means the way that I operate my business is going to be based off of the core tenets and the core beliefs and the core values of the Bible. The Bible tells me this is how you should treat people. You should treat all people kindly. You should love all people and help all people. So that's a core tenet of our industry, is trying to help other people. These people have asked for help with insurance. So our job is to go help them and help them to the best of our ability. Not what's best for our pocket, but what's best for them. And so that shapes everything we do. We see a lot of unethical people in this industry. Lying insurance applications, put applications in for clients when they don't even know. See money get taken out. I just had another one this week where the guy said, hey, agent took an application. We didn't even know, signed for us, and it withdrew from our account. We went and changed our bank account immediately, opened up a whole new bank account.
That is horrible.
It unfortunately happens in this industry. Now, I don't know if that person's Christian or not. It doesn't matter. It can happen whether you're a Christian or not. But that person's core beliefs probably don't align with my core beliefs. You can have the same core beliefs as me and not be a Christian. So we see that the main thing in this industry is loving other people and helping other people no matter what. And that's what shapes our business. That shapes how I mentor people. That shapes how I coach people. That shapes how I help clients. And so that's a large part of our success, is how much we love and want to help others.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It reminds me of the scripture that was like taught in our like in a sermon this week. And our pastor was talking about how the disciples are fighting. Oh, who's the greatest? Who's really the greatest? Oh, I've done this, that, whatever. And then Jesus says the greatest among you will be a servant.
Absolutely.
And what's awesome that I really believe is that when you have a faith-based system, when that is your core belief that the greatest among you will be a servant, the leader of leaders, Jesus, who was a servant, like he was the most humble servant person ever. And I think we can practically bring that into business, being a leader in business, being a CEO in business, being able to lead from the front with a servant's attitude and with humility. And I think that is awesome. To somebody who's wanting to make a change in their life, to somebody young wanting to like change the world, go after their dreams. They have huge, high hopes, expectations. They want the financial freedom. They don't want to have to work ever again if they don't want to. Like they want to be able to do whatever they want in life, but they don't feel empowered. They're scared. They're nervous. There's thoughts in their head. There's things that their parents might have said or trained them to be. What would you tell that person who's wanting to do like embark on the entrepreneurial route and take the road less traveled? What would you tell them?
Find a system that works. Find a system that's had proven success, that's had proven results, not just for one person, but for multiple people. Like we said before, mentorship and systems are key. If those aren't in place, then the odds of you having success are very low. It's not impossible, but it's very, very low. The more you can do in the beginning to make sure you're going to be as successful as possible is key. I talk to agents all the time who start at other companies, and it's a fend for yourself. Hey, you're hired. Great. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of turnover. Go to a place where you're likely to have more success quicker. That's going to be the key, no matter what the industry is, whether it's business, whether it's art, whether it's like religion, no matter what it is. A place that has a culture, a system, and mentorship is going to be the place where you're more likely to succeed than anywhere else. So find that system and find it quick.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. And one thing I would say to somebody, an entrepreneur trying to embark on their huge dreams, is go after it. Just do it. Like, it's better to fall on your face trying to gain the whole world than not. Like just being satisfied paying the bills day to day, like living paycheck to paycheck. People's opinions are the cheapest commodity on earth. They don't matter. That's straight from Think and Grow Rich. Like it really doesn't matter. It's people's opinions at the end of the day. That is, most people live by other people's opinions. And that's why the best ideas and inventions are in the graveyard now, because they chose other people's opinions rather than that huge dream that they want to accomplish. And you have to have some level of craziness to succeed. You have to have some level of crazy. The Einstein and the light bulb wasn't created from Edison because like he had to be some level of crazy. But that's what's awesome. You can do this. You can do this. Insurance is a great avenue to start. You don't have to have a lot of startup. You really don't. You could start on someone else's leads, get money so you can actually like buy your own, and then you buy your production. And so I want to encourage you, if you're listening to this, just go after your dreams. Just do it. It's so worth it. And so Ashton, it has been a pleasure, brother. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everything you're doing in this industry, how you're impacting lives, how you've found success, dude. Really appreciate you. If somebody is like, dude, I'm curious about the insurance industry, man, and they want to reach out to you, they have questions on want to get trained personally by you, maybe even want to join your team, how can they reach out to you? What's the best way that they could contact you?
Simply, Googling my name is easy. There's no one else with that name, so that makes it a little easy. But we have our webpage, Ashton sfg.com. So Ash, my first name, our company initials.com. That's going to take them to our main page, and there they can click the, work with us button and learn more about our exact agency.
Boom.
Also, another great resource is, our podcast, how to sell insurance. Pretty simple. We got the website writemoreapps.com. So that hosts all of our training for free. A lot of content and insight there as well.
I love it, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And if you're trying to go from unknown to unforgettable, you're on the right track. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe now and leave a 5-star review as well. Thank you so much.